Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of our Bata podcast. My name is Manas, and this is my beautiful co-host Nitya Bhatia. Hey, Nitya, what's up?
Hi guys.
That's
For the nth time. बट मुस्कुराना भी बहुत मुश्किल हो गया है क्योंकि अ,
more,
क्योंकि
more.
हम एक ही एपिसोड काफी टाइम से रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं एंड as you can see why because it's not that because we didn't have content or material, gosh we did, but some people just zone out, like they just zone out. I'm not taking names because things get controversial and everything, so yeah, it's
Are you talking
just
about your dad?
disoriented
Are
people.
you talking about your dad? तो और कौन
You
है जो
wish.
कल जोन आउट हो रहा था?
और
Name
भी है
it.
लोग इस कमरे में, इस
Say it.
इस इस स्क्रीन पे
Say
भी
it.
हैं और लोग.
Say it. I dare you to say
Manas.
it. So Okay, so let me explain my situation. So we tried recording last week, like properly, and for some reason we could not record, like we could not put together a decent episode the whole week. And then Thursday came along, and then that day, all of a sudden, vaccine slot opened up. My D was, trying really hard. She got lucky, and then I got went there, got vaccine, and then we were supposed to record the episode that day. So I was like, you know what, I can pull through. I can push through, and I'm not feeling any sort of side effects, so I can definitely record that day. And I tried, and we failed horribly. So then we decided we are going to record it at night. Hello, everyone, and welcome to
Normal human
Lucy.
beings. Dude, you've lost your shit. The
Um,
side effects were pretty evident because I think I'm not sure if it was because we were recording post 10 p.m. or if it was the vaccination. It was either of the two, but he had totally lost his shit, and he had basically Manas like kind of just renounced his brains, somewhere, and he was completely disoriented, and I mean I don't even know, he was like totally, I mean this guy who had no sense of any conscience left in him. He was like करना है तो करते हैं, नहीं करना तो नहीं करते. So
I was really tired because I went for the vaccine wala thing. So, bahar ki hawa lagi thodi thi kar raha hu, thodi
oh,
si. And I was really tired throughout the days. I really wanted to sleep, and for some reason, the whole thing got pushed to 11 o'clock because she was supposed to have dinner by 10:30, but she was like, "Arey yaar, time lag gaya, so please give me half an hour more." So then, of course, I had to sit through that, and then at 11 o'clock we started
sit
recording.
through that. Yeah.
And at 11 o'clock, I was so sleep deprived. I get high on sleep deprivation, and I sort of start losing my conscience. I became a little insane, and I was saying all sorts of stuff. It's very easy to get any sort of information out of me if I'm like bit sleep deprived.
Yeah, like we reached a point where I was like, Manas, what's the next thing to say? He's like, कुछ भी बोलते हैं, जो मन में आए बोल दे नित्या, कुछ भी बोलते हैं. I was like कुछ भी, like like the freedom I experienced that day. I mean, almost I think he became my new favorite person that day. Because otherwise he's always like ये line इसके बाद बोलना है. And I wasn't sure which version of him I like more now.
कुछ भी देख ये देख I'm structured. That's the only thing. I'm not like you just born. Anyway, so I'm not going to say that word that often. Yeah. So
Anywho, Manas, anywho, you were saying.
yeah, thank you for reminding me that.
In
Moving on. So not moving on. So like we could have recorded the next day on Friday or even on Saturday or even on Sunday. But thing is that after getting a vaccine, my whole body, like I had side effects. I had sore body. I was not feeling well. I was not up to the game, so we did not record at all. And here we are. So we decided, let's just skip a week. And I have,
yeah.
like it's not that it's the first time I'm having a vaccine, as an adult. Like I had it like before, I guess like few years ago. So it's a very funny story. Do you want me to tell it? बताऊं तो बता दे बताना है तो बताऊं बता
हाँ, हमारा ही पॉडकास्ट है, जो बोलना है बोल दे. आज
so
13 दिन है.
thank you so
वैक्सीन हो गया है तुम्हारा.
so couple
आरोग्य सेतु is proud of you.
yeah thank you so a few years back in 2000 I guess 14 I just got my license and I thought I'm going to put it into use And since everyone knows that I have hyperhidrosis, I sweat excessively in my in my palms and my feet. So I never step out in my slippers. So that day, I don't know what happened. My D was like, I'm getting late. I need you to drop me to the metro station or whatever. So I was like, yeah, sure. I took out my, scooty, whatever you want to call it. I took that out, मैं सिर्फ खड़ा ही था in my slippers. My sister sat on the moment I
I don't have a
started
good feeling about this.
the moment I started the Activa, whatever you want to call it, scooty, not Activa, sorry. Uh, I don't know what happened. My actually, I know what happened. My feet got really sweaty, and I was standing like this, and the whole I just slipped, and both of us fell on the side, and my Dee was like
Oh
so
God.
pissed. We were so pissed. Of course, we were both hurt. So she took an auto immediately and she left for the hospital. And she called me, from the hospital that come to the hospital. You need to get tetanus shot because we got this and that. We got
She left you on the road.
not on the road. I was in front of the house, near the house. Let's just say that. So yeah, because she was getting late, so it was fine. And she was also pissed कि ये क्या खड़े खड़े गिरा दिया. एक होता है
मैं
थोड़ा सा
हॉस्पिटल जा रही हूँ, बेइज्जती अब तेरी होगी.
it was not even a dramatic fall कि कैसे घिसटते घिसटते गए, which has happened with my other sister. So ऐसा नहीं लाइफ में
Wow.
एक्साइटिंग चीजें नहीं है
There's
धूम.
always scope for improvement in your case.
वो वाला धूम वाला सीन भी हुआ था थर्ड टाइम बाद ही. आई एम नॉट इवन गोना लाई, बहुत ही ज्यादा लगी थी उस टाइम पे तो.
Yeah,
बट
yeah,
दिस
I
हैपेंड.
believe you.
वो भी एंड दिस ऑल हैपेंड इन अ मंथ्स टाइम. और उसके एक महीने बाद क्या होता है, मेरे एक्सीडेंट हुआ था. आफ्टर व्हिच आई वाज बैड बेड रिडन, नॉट बैड रिडन,
You were
बेड
literally
रिडन.
thrown under the bus.
या so उस time भी I got tetanus shot in my arm. So the whole so after that my arm was like hurting for like a week. It was really sore and heavy. I could not move it that well. So I know like all the side effects and how it works. So I was like sort of prepared what was to come after getting this shot. And here we are finally, getting this. We're recording this
Wow.
finally. So another funny story about vaccine. So just so I got vaccine on Thursday, and my sister got vaccine on Wednesday, right? So on Tuesday or Monday, she got the slot and she booked it on Monday or Tuesday, and she said, "Tada, you're going to accompany me if something happens. So you need to get everything, all the sort of safety precautions." So I got face mask, I got what do you call it, face shield and everything. So face shield is a funny story. So I ordered on the big basket because that was the the quickest way to get it. So I did not unpack it. I did not even check it out, beforehand. The moment we were supposed to
Wow.
leave the house for hospital, I just unpack it and put it together and wore it. Right. The funny thing is, just before that, I got haircut. So I was really conscious about that because I thought we are not going to get lucky about,
Bad combination.
yeah, so I thought I'm not going to get lucky with getting the slot for the vaccine, and who's going to watch see my haircut. In the meantime, they're going to just grow out, so it's fine. And we are going to come to my haircut. Just one second, guys. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, right? So
Yeah.
I
He's
wore that.
going to deconstruct it for you and literally he's going to show you everything you should not do. DIY.
Yeah, so I wore the face shield. For some reason, I could not see through the face shield. So, but I could just make out, light, shadows and everything. So I thought maybe this is how face shield is supposed to work. Even though I've seen multiple people wear it,
हाँ
face shield,
हाँ हाँ.
but even then I was like,
मन की आंखों
होगा,
से चलेंगे अब से.
but
मन
होगा
की आंखों से इंट्यूशन से.
मैंने कहा होगा कुछ मे बी ऐसे होगी शायद
हाँ.
सस्ती ले ली इसलिए ऐसा हुआ होगा बट आई वाज लाइक आई wore it and went to the hospital. I could tell that people are staring at me for some reason, but I thought because of my bad haircut people are staring at me, because I have really bad random cuts in the back. It's a really wonky
Yeah.
fade, whatever you want to call it. So I was like, people are staring at me, but I was completely chill. I was feeling myself because my entire face was covered, and I had really thick, translucent, opaque, almost opaque face shield. So nobody could make out, like who this person is. So my identity was safe with me. I was not recognizable at all.
I would even think you could make out your own environment, let alone even
That
recognizing or identifying objects
that's true.
because of
That's true. But
smarty pants.
yeah, so I came back home, after all that thing, after not seeing a single thing, beach me, if even after like, book an Ola or something, I was just, just, removing the whole thing, up and just, booking and texting everyone on the phone. I came back home. I'm like, yeah, kal ka bhi shayad, maybe I might get, slot for vaccine for myself, in this week. So let's just wash it. Kya fir se ek aur mangani? It's not that good. So I start washing it. The moment I just removed it, I noticed something, peeling off. There was a really thin layer, of film on both the sides, and you're supposed to peel it before wearing it.
क्या बात कर रहा है?
And yeah, so people were not looking at my haircut; they were just laughing at me. Look at this dumbass who
मतलब I guess
चुन्नी
how
पहन के
your
आ जाता.
mind works is your mind works कि देखो कोविड तो ड्रॉपलेट से स्प्रेड होता है तो आंखों के अंदर ड्रॉपलेट्स भी नहीं जानी चाहिए ना,
But thing is,
इसलिए
see
फेस
it.
शील्ड से विजन भी शील्ड हो गया.
So anyway,
वाह.
you can see if I have the picture, so you can just I no I'm not going to post that picture, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to.
You need to see this. You need to see this.
Yeah, so that's happened. That's what happened. So that was quite a journey. But the thing is, the facial did it,
Amazing.
worked perfectly. I was completely protected. Nothing happened. So it served its
Yeah, yeah.
purpose. So I'm fine with
COVID
that.
wouldn't dare to. Yeah, yeah.
कोविड कहता है इसके पास
Absolutely.
कौन आएगा? इसके पास IQ कम है. Next.
रूम टेम्परेचर से भी IQ कम है इसका, रहने दो.
Okay, calm down. Okay.
Is it true?
All the
Wow.
stories. So another thing that happened is my haircut. So right now I'm sitting in such a way, I'm sitting
Why
in
did
such
it
an
happen?
angle that you cannot make out that if my haircut is really bad or is just a bad camera. So my hair was getting a bit out of hand. Like they were getting really जो भी है बड़े हो गए थे. So I tried to, I thought that I just give myself a haircut, and I've given it like multiple times since the pandemic started, like last year. First time I buzzed it because I had no idea how to
And
cut my
yet
own
you
hair.
don't fail to surprise me with your haircuts. It's really amazing. The shapes and designs you aesthetically kind of make on your head. They're just
देख लो.
masterpiece. Picasso
So
है Picasso.
things.
लड़का हमारा.
So so I usually so what happened was I of course like throughout the pandemic I've been cutting my hair, but I just got lucky like once, and after that I never got lucky, and this is the result right now. So
नजारा दिखाओ सबको अच्छे से.
okay, so people who are watching, they can get to experience this thing. Not experience,
Yeah.
they can just see it, but listeners, you can just just imagine a really ugly haircut. Okay.
People
Okay.
who aren't, people
Okay,
who are
are
listening
you
to us on
ready?
Spotify, yes, yes, we are.
So you can see this is a really so of course it's sort of they grew out a little in just 2 weeks. So this is a really sharp weird line, and then there's a really random piece, and then of course you can see the fade at this height, but on this side the fade is at that, you can see it around here. So
ठीक है, अपना अपना स्टाइल होता
Nitya,
है, स्टाइल है ये स्टाइल.
can you guess you can make out the difference, right, between the height. और पीछे तो कुछ और ही हो रहा है. I don't even want to show this. उसके लिए तो मेरे पास है ही
I'm
नहीं
trying to
हिम्मत.
look. But honestly, I can't make out the difference because I'm not
I'll tell you why.
so.
I'll tell you why. So I did my haircut keeping Zoom in mind, right? So I switched on my Zoom. I had my camera in the back, and I did the entire thing, on the floor. Just if something goes wrong, horribly wrong, at least I can look decent on camera because this video is going to be on YouTube forever.
Decent.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what happened. So you can imagine my plight. I am sitting down on the floor. I cannot kneel. So and my about my knee situation. They're not the best.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like
yeah. नहीं
struggling.
बुजुर्गों का प्रॉब्लम मैं जानती हूँ. Because I've stayed with my grandparents and I know how it is for them. So I get your point. I totally understand.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. उम्र के साथ ये चीजें होती हैं. अपाहिज हो जाते हो, विकलांग, वो सब होता है.
Okay, calm down. पीछे पीछे चली गई. Calm down. That's why I need structure. So I'm like मैं पूरे
See,
time में.
he's trying to tame me. Look at tame my free spirit, free expression.
Let
This
me
is why I
just
create
mute her.
this platform.
Let me just mute her.
हाँ, host मैंने बनाया था.
Yeah, just for one day, okay? Like for some reason my Zoom was
Uh,
not working and she just got lucky and that's it. You meaning
yeah,
it.
but I think haircuts remind me of how incompetent I felt. I mean, you still more power to you that you gave yourself a haircut. I mean, of course, I could never give myself.
Yeah, please continue with
So
your story. You can continue with your story about your
yeah.
whatever haircut.
So speaking of wow, thanks for permission. So so speaking of haircuts, oh God. I mean, it's one area of my life where I mean felt so incompetent when it comes to cutting my own hair because gosh, I could never do that. Especially with
Okay,
long
once
hair.
again, one
But
area of
then
life
yeah,
noted.
yeah, one area. So but then I'm like, when it comes to another person, I mean, it's so doable because I can, and I have a steady hand. Like I do have a steady hand. So I was like, lockdown, and my dad was going nuts. He was like, "Oh my God, my hair is growing, and I can't attend meetings. And worst case क्या होगा, hair band पे borrow करना पड़ेगा नित्या से, या oh my God, टोपी पहननी पड़ेगी, टोपी पहन के मैं interviews कैसे लूंगा?" And he was just like, "Oh my God, I can't deal with this." And when he gets his hair cut, he gets his hair cut really short. Like जैसे army में haircuts होते हैं लोगों के. Like he feels like he's never gonna ever get a hair trim after this one time. That's how he gets his hair cut. Like almost close to Mundwana, but not that kind of a situation. So I'm like, give it another month. It's not anyway gonna grow. But something happens to him. He goes crazy after. Worst case, why don't I just watch a YouTube tutorial and I'll give you a haircut? How hard can it be? I mean, you've already got such short hair. He's like, no.
How
And
hard can
I'm
it be,
like,
Nitya? How hard can it be? Sure.
yeah, it. I mean, it's so doable. And honestly, I still feel I could have done it. But he was like, nahi, and galat ho jayega, and it will kind of. And what if you mess up? And I won't be able
And
to
by the
show
way,
my
just 1 second.
face in Zoom calls.
Speaking of YouTube
Yeah,
tutorial, we watched the YouTube tutorial for recording the podcast as well. And remember the first time we tried to do that? It almost took us 3 hours to just figure out the basic things. So yeah,
don't remind me. Don't remind me of those days.
sorry to cut you. Continue.
वो दिन कैसे गुजारे हमने एंकर के साथ. Oh God. Literally, like we've started from scratch. So I'm also proud of us because we're a two-man army. I mean, now we know, at least we know what it takes to start a podcast from scratch. So yeah, learnings. But anyway, yeah. So back to my dad and him not trusting me with his hair. I was like, just trust me with this. I've got this. And he's like, you give your dog a haircut, and I cannot get my. I was like, I'm obviously not going to give you a haircut like I give my dog. Like, there's a difference, Papa. Like, I'm not going to give you the same style that I give my dog. And he's like, I don't have a good feeling about this, and I so cannot
Because you were
trust you.
bringing
And of course,
muzzle. You were bringing muzzle to the haircut.
I was shut up.
I would do the
I
same.
was not bringing. Dude, he doesn't bite.
Don't tell me you were the one bringing the
Okay,
muzzle.
this just got really weird, especially in like, oh God, visualizing the muzzle. Okay. So because I give my dog a haircut, and honestly I do a great job. But because of that reason, he was afraid. He had some
You know
nightmare
why
of
was he
me,
afraid? Nitya, where is the dog
of
right now?
him resembling my dog. Or I'm not sure what his fear was, and because of that, he still hasn't allowed me to cut his hair.
Nitya, I can tell his fear. Where is your dog right now that you used to give haircuts to?
She's no more, but I have another dog.
Bringing the muzzle and a 7 month, it's like really old, experience. I would do the same. I'm on uncle's side. I would not trust you either. Remember when it took you 2 days to just screw that bulb in the back?
This is the mother of all dark humor. You've done this to me in the first episode also.
And we got so many views. I'm just saying. We have dropped to just 35 or
हाँ
36
हाँ.
views.
और बोलो मेरे lost and dead dog
What?
के बारे. Please
I'm the
go ahead.
one,
Yeah, yeah.
keeping her in the memory. So, like, you should be thankful.
Yeah, yeah. You bring back memories of when she left us. I mean, you should not even come close to anybody who needs a therapist because you do right now. Anyway, so yeah, that was the experience I had. Well, yeah. So पापा कहते हैं बड़ा नाम नहीं करेगा.
Speaking of Naam Karega, we also watched Alma Matter.
Oh
It's a docu
yes.
series on Netflix about IIT Kharagpur and about students and their life there and everything. I actually quite liked it.
Mm.
It was a great
Yeah, it was
escape.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was a great escape for me because first of all, it was so bizarre to see people pre-COVID times and they were
I
touching,
know.
hugging.
I mean, honestly, like one is that okay, fine. It's about IIT Kharagpur and the whole, the whole journey from preparing for IIT and getting into IIT and life in IIT. But oh my God, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, Diwali hai. एक दूसरे को छू रहे हैं. No sanitize. And they're touching surfaces and they're hugging each other. And for me, that was like, क्या हो क्या रहा है? What's going on? Because that is what was kind of really getting to me more than anything else.
So that
So
was I think like aside from that feeling weird and about people
mm,
being carefree and everything, but it was a great
yeah.
experience. First of all, it was a I sometimes watch shows or movies just so I can visit that place, I can see or have look at that place क्योंकि वैसे तुम जा नहीं सके तो
हाँ चिंदी लोग हैं हम चिंदी लोग आईआईटी नहीं जा सके एल्मा मैटर्स देख लो
या सर लाइक कि कोई बात नहीं ऐसी सपना पूरा करेंगे
ऐसे ही करेंगे
so we did that. So and we were discussing how that show was, and then she finally drops after this years of friendship, and then now she mentions that her dad is he sorry not she her dad
वाओ जेंडर ही चेंज हो गया है अब बीच एपिसोड
her
में
dad went to IIT for his graduation and for his masters, and so I thought it would be great idea to bring him on the episode and discuss certain things, and let people know about our sponsors. Give
yeah
them a chance, give
that
them a
was quite an
voice.
experience that
Yeah.
was quite an experience
So yeah, so guys, please put your hands together for Nitya's dad, for the Bhatia family, minus auntie, who's gonna make appearance really soon. क्योंकि ऐसे चलता रहा तो आंटी भी आएंगी जल्दी. So our very special segment is brought to you by Nitya.
पापा
Hello, uncle.
you know you have you have hit rock bottom when you start using your parents for content on your podcast but आज हमें साथ में डिनर करना है तो आई होप our mic is not taken away from me
Let's hope so. So, uncle, before we go ahead, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to it. I am Nitya's father, and yeah, she tricked me into doing this at the end of a long day. So
I did not trick him. I told him in
okay,
advance.
yeah,
Let's
that's
go with
fine.
that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's about it. I work in a multinational company. I'm looking after their IT infrastructure and cybersecurity. So yeah, that's about it. I lock myself in a room in the morning and do Zoom calls the whole day, and then at the end of the day, I get out, I eat, and then I sleep. That's what I do.
But
That's
पापा
great.
पूरे दिन जूम कॉल करके डिड यू एवर फील
Mhm.
कि आप उसके बाद अपने बेटी के साथ जूम कॉल करोगे सेम घर में
I just can't get over this actually. But thankfully, the ones which I do, most of them are not recorded. So
देखा
you could misbehave and not have it preserved for posterity. You know, on
That's
your
also true. Because of
yeah
this new feature that announces when you start recording that this meeting is being recorded, I cannot use it to my advantage now because now initially Nitya would do something really stupid or funny. I would record it and she wouldn't realize. And now I'm sort of like, I can't do this. So I
yeah
understand where you're
now there's
coming.
something now at least my rights are not being manipulated and my petition on change.org has been accepted because you took advantage of the fact that I had a dupatta on my head and you pressed record so this is an answer to that
Your
I'll
rights are
be
being
aware.
manipulated, not by Manas perhaps, but by the big companies, the digital companies. I mean, all this content you'll be uploading as podcasts, maybe on YouTube or wherever. So yeah, that ship sailed long, long time ago.
Okay,
Okay,
I
so
guess now I feel better about that. Or maybe worse. I'm not sure what I feel.
okay, Uncle. First of all, I'll just say this, that it's so cool to have you here on the podcast. Only like because I think if I was in the same time when you were in school or college, I don't think we would be friends because you were too cool. You had your acads in order. People who don't know what you're talking about, you did IIT, like you did twice, right? Like for graduation and for post graduation, right?
Yeah, it's funny because for graduation, I actually avoided it. So I got into IIT for my BTech, but then I did not. For that year, the results were delayed. So I got into Indian School of Mines for my BTech, and again, I got what I wanted to do in terms of the stream I was pursuing. And then I got IIT results later, and after my counseling, I got some disciplines which I was not interested in. So I decided to, like, unusually so, and to the surprise of my father, to stick on with School of Mines. But many years later, School of Mines also became an IIT. So without having to, after not going to IIT and going to ISM, it's now an IIT
Sim declared
as well.
IIT.
So yeah, but yeah, that's how it is. So it had to be that somehow, I feel, and it became that.
That's interesting. Okay, because I struggled to just get into a normal college altogether, so you had options. So this second thing is that you had long distance relationship, thriving. And in those times, now people have every sort of, they can access to their partner, like, via phone and everything. And even then they cannot sustain that. But, and you had that in that times, like that speaks volumes. So you have great personality. And secondly, you were in social committee, which Nitya earlier told me that you were in band, but it's equally good. So that means
He
you were
was a cultural secretary, is what he told me. He was a cultural
so
secretary,
you're
right?
socially packed as well. So unlike me, when I went to coaching institutes, to so I could get into what you what you went through, like you went into IIT. I saw those people who who would party, who would score the best marks, who had good relationships working on, and meanwhile we had entire week to do the podcast, and it's a night before a release, and we are doing it right now. That's just saying. I feel really cool to have you here because I don't think I would be friends with you back then.
No,
I would be
no,
friends with
no,
you.
Manas.
So when did you join
Sure.
IIT for the first time?
So yeah, so I was in Indian School of Mines. I finished my BTech there. I worked for 4 years, and then I got into IIT Delhi for my MBA.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so today the coaching. So how do I explain this? So now these days, coaching centers and tuition centers have sort of cracked that how to crack IIT or any sort of engineering exams or MBA exams. So they sort of give the same thing to the students, and the students follow that, and they get into the in the respective institutes, right? But in your case, did you had the same coaching culture back then? Like, do you appreciate that? How did you prepare for it? That's my main thing.
I mean, I've never gone in for for any kind of tuition or coaching institute in my life. Never had to do that.
Dekha.
But I also believe we had great teachers. And again, I give full credit to the commitment and the passion I mean, at that point of time, we had teachers who were teaching because they loved teaching. It was not a job, and I can never forget our school principal, Mr. George W. Mayer. May his soul rest in
Hmm.
peace. And he was such an icon. He was a Fulbright scholar 2 times, and he taught us physics, chemistry, maths, and computer science in 11th and 12th. And we would never know that, okay, it's a chemistry period, so he's going to be teaching chemistry, or a physics period. He taught by the topic, never bothered about which subject it came under, and it was all just one understanding. And if anybody asked him any kind of questions which were for IIT prep, he would help there as well. Uh, or he would say in summer holidays, why don't you come down and I will just take some extra classes for you. So
Hmm.
that's the kind of passion and commitment, and I think that made a lot of difference uh, at that point in time.
Yeah, I think
No,
that made
no.
all the difference.
So no bad students, like they say, only bad teachers. I think that's true to a large degree.
That's sort of missing what, like, that's the missing link that I found in my schooling, that teachers were there, but of course they were only concerned about their stuff, and in order to make money, maybe because they're not making money, the incentive was always to, if they want to teach anyone extra, even if they were good kids, they would pursue them to have tuitions after school. So they would go for that, or they might even join coaching institutes where they would teach and get extra money from there. So there was always some incentive, as in your case. And that time, there was it was purely because they actually like to taught students, and they had good intentions altogether. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think teaching is a profession which should be the most highly paid, because then and only then will the best people go there. Best minds will go into teaching. That is
Hmm.
one, and the other place is medicine. So teaching and medicine are two areas which actually you shouldn't have to pay to get in, from the student point of view or from the patient point of view,
yeah,
because it's a conflict of interest. If I'm running a hospital and my aim is to make money, if I'm a company, then it's not in my best interest to cure the person quickly. The same goes for teaching as well. If I'm not getting enough money, then probably not the best people are going to go and teach.
exactly.
And that will
Especially,
kind of impact a generation of students also and their career choices, because I think one good teacher can make, and a bad teacher can also break. So good teacher can make you choose a subject you've hated for your entire life, and also completely change the trajectory of your career. So that's the impact a good teacher can have on you,
100%.
and the same thing goes for even a bad teacher also.
so speaking
Absolutely.
speaking of careers, so nowadays there's a basic trend. So people have sort of cracked it. So in 2000s, people have started noticing that first they would get into engineering. They would try for IIT, but they would still get into IITs or any engineering college, and then they would go on to do MBA from IM. So this is a trend now, and they would not use the engineering
Hmm.
degree at all for their future jobs. Like in their career, they wouldn't
Future
do it.
jobs, yeah.
They would just get it because this is the main pattern that they see, that this person succeeded and he did engineering and then he did MBA. So that's a common thing. So how do you feel about that? Because
Yeah, it's like a brand almost. It's almost like the brand image that you're trying to hold. That it's that IIT MBA, and uske baad your career choices might not even have anything to do closely with the degrees that you've got.
Yeah. So my thought about that is, I mean, even when you do an MBA, it could be related to your engineering degree. So in my case, for example, we had a dual specialization. The engineering I did was primarily composed of mechanical and electrical, the branch I took. And I was always interested in computers. Uh, and my first job was with telco, which is to do a bit with manufacturing. So I could get into MBA and do a specialization in systems and manufacturing. So it could just extend what I learned more. At the same time, I am not against people, doing totally divergent things, because at the end of the day, knowledge is all related. It depends on how much you are interested in and how you correlate things. There is a lovely book by this great biologist called E.O. Wilson. It's called consilience, and it's a term he had coined, which means the unity of all knowledge. So, so people, abroad, if you will take, some of the univs, people do very, very divergent kind of subjects. But the question is again, like you said, Manas, are they doing it because everybody is doing it, or is
Hmm.
it because I'm genuinely interested in probably doing IT systems along with HR? You know why? Because I want to get into HR tech, and I want to have an AI platform which can really help in filtering out the right candidates for a job. So these two things can come together beautifully, and so can many others. So I think it depends on what you are trying to do. Are you just aping what's going on, or are you genuinely interested in the couple of things or two very different things you're trying to do?
See, I'm
So
completely
so
fine.
that so that kind of oh, no, so another thought comes into my mind regarding that. We recently saw a documentary called Alma Matters. So this is kind of also related to that, of how so many engineering students in IIT Kharagpur and even the other IITs, how they had to choose subjects and departments they were not even interested in, but they still chose it anyway because they were getting into IIT. So what kind of an impact does that have on, their future? Because then that will also force them, when it comes to placements, they'll have to enter a job that does not interest them. That so many people opted for data analytics and data sciences because those jobs were available and not in the department that they were
Mining, like
kind of
mining
looking for.
or
The
agriculture,
opportunity is not available.
like mining and
Yeah,
agriculture.
yeah.
So it's a choice. It's a choice you make. Like I said, I didn't get
Hmm.
into, I didn't join IIT because I wasn't getting the branch of my choice. So it was a clear choice. I mean, and everybody can make that choice.
So it's
Everybody can make that
interesting
choice.
how you left IIT. In your case, you left IIT because you did not get the course of your choice, while people went for IIT even though they did not get the course of their
There's
choice.
also another secret to that. After 3 months being ragged in ISM, I just did not feel like going into a new place and get ragged again. Just kidding.
Wow. Yeah, gosh. It's like 3 months झेल लिया. And I think you told me that your roommates
Yeah,
escaped,
the
right?
first two.
You were
Yeah,
alone,
we were
you
in
were
a
left
three.
alone.
Yeah, I was in a three-seater in the oldest hostel there. So ISM was formed in 1926,
Wow.
and modeled on the Royal School of Mines. One of the oldest hostels called Diamond Hostels. The freshers used to stay there. The three-seater rooms. So both my roommates that were allocated, they ran away after getting beaten, ragged, etc. So I had the room to myself, not complaining.
That's horrible. Uh, oh my god. I can't even imagine right now because this I personally was
And
fearing.
Manas, उस time ragging होती थी, like literally होती थी ragging, गंदी
Yeah,
वाली.
I understand that.
So
Speaking of,
he's like I needed 2 minutes of silence.
no, the thing is, it wasn't ragging. See, ragging only lasts like until you become seniors. Like someone else become takes your place. So new freshers come in, you are sort of let go, right? I sort of
No, 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 no. That's not how it happened with us. We had a very clear date, 15th August. 15th August was Independence Day. The session used to start in June. June to 15th August, you were ragged. And on 15th, you were like normal, free people, no problem at all. Just mingling with everybody.
okay. So there's expiry period. That's good because when I went into my high school, it wasn't the case. It lasted the entire 5 years. So I didn't want the same thing to be in college. So I thought, ki, thank God we are born in different eras. I don't want to go through that again.
लेकिन मानस इनके रैगिंग के सामने हमारी बुलिंग बच्चों वाली लग रही है.
No.
मतलब जैसे ना, क्या ही है, कुछ भी नहीं था. वर्बली हमको दिल दुखाया हमारा, क्या ही है उसके इनके सामने.
Yeah, just thrown, off the stairs, so it's completely fine. Didn't hurt me that much. Sort of healed now.
ओ.
Anyway, so I wanted to
So
ask
you
you.
got thrown off from the stairs? You
Yeah,
got thrown off from the stairs? Wow.
yes. So I was just new. I guess it was my second or third day, and I was in eighth class, and I was hardly 5 foot tall. Like I was 4'8" maybe, and there was this guy really tall who had who I don't know what happened. Like he took some steroids or something. He was really tall. In eighth class, he was 6 feet or something, and he
Steroids.
just for the sake of fun, he just pushed me, down the stairs, and we were all heading down for assembly, and he just pushed me just like this, ha ha ha, देख क्या होता है, and I just like fell down. And teachers were standing in front of him. Our vice principal was standing in front of him,
I'm
and
not supposed to laugh.
Sorry to hear that, but that's more of bullying versus ragging.
yeah. So that's what I'm
And
saying.
bullying happens.
That's what I was like. कि,
I
अच्छा ये
think I
college में.
think bullying gets upgraded to ragging when you go to college.
No, it's not that. I mean, if I remember my experience, of course, for all the horrors of ragging, I mean, we also developed a fantastic relationship with our seniors. So over a period of time,
Yeah,
You didn't
and
hold
we
then
did
any
not.
grudges for all that they did to you?
Uh,
no, it was personal. That's the beauty of it. Bullying is very personal.
See, the ragging thing is more socially acceptable, and you know that it's just for
It's
a
like
small.
a, yeah,
It's not
it's like
intentionally picked
everybody
on.
goes through it.
You're
It's
not
not,
intention. You're not intentionally
yeah.
picked on by someone. And I did not bond with my bully, so that's a different thing. So that's also.
I would develop the Stockholm syndrome or something.
हाँ, so अगले दिन बोले आओ बहन चुगली करे.
Anywho, let's move on from this. So I wanted to ask you because you are, you're IIT square basically. How do you feel about the unconventional jobs that people are going for? Not us, we are just doing it for the hobby. In case money rolls in, it's fine, we'll take it, but we're just asking.
I actually really appreciate it because, frankly, career choices are not as narrow as they used to be. And it's a different world, it's a different economy, it's the whole digital forms which are there, which can really help you expand your reach. You are talking about me, maintaining a long-term relationship with my wife. Why? Because there was no other choice, right? But
Through
now,
letters those
yeah,
days.
it's such a different world, and I think the barrier to entry of doing this is a thing now. If you want to publish a book, for instance, what do you need to do? Publish at a few thousand rupees. That wasn't possible, uh, several years ago. So I think it gives an expression to a lot of creativity. It levels the playing field for a lot of people who have resources versus do not have resources. So I really appreciate those career choices which people are making.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a very bizarre question. So, as you would know, but
Mhm.
so you had IIT, twice in your, in your resume, and so it's sort of, back then you were a perfect suitable bachelor, a suitable, like parents were looking for you, like person who had IIT twice, and even it's still the thing. People still want people who have IIT degree, or
Yeah, on
somebody who has
jeevansathi.com or all the other platforms.
even IM or something. And
Mhm.
now people see it as a personality trait. They see it as a personality thing. They're like, "Ki, acha, how does he look? How does he behave? Does not really matter." They see the salary package and the brand name that comes along with it, right? So I'm saying it, for instance, I do we do podcasts, so we know like sort of what sort of effort goes into it, how much what people are doing for the content, how they are doing it, are they just ripping off headlines, or something else, or they are being creative. Or if I do if I'm
Mhm.
into a little bit of food blogging, so I see people who put in too much efforts but they don't have that big of a following. But at the same time, I see somebody who takes just vada pav picture on a street without any sort of composition, and they have 70,000 followers, and they get paid for that. Not paid for that, but like because of that they get paid, because likes equal to how much you are worth basically on social media. So as an IIT or IIT in yourself, do you see people, do you see the currently like current pass outs, do you see them as with the same standards, or do you see it just as a hype? Of course, they do a lot of hard work, that's why they got there. But aside from the CGP and salary, do you see the hype?
Yeah, so I think that's the world we live in today. So it's like when you buy software and you say, okay, I'm not being charged anything, but that means you are the product, right?
Yeah.
So you are being charged. You just get charged in different currencies. If you look at this whole social media angle, which you are saying in terms of likes equating, now what kind of a business are you in? First of all, you're a food blogger, but if your success is completely dependent on likes on that social media platform, then probably that's not the only place you should be looking at. I know of photographers, very well known photographers, and I'm talking photography because I like photography, who actually got off social media, because they said, this is not what I want to do. I don't want my worth to be measured by people who don't even recognize my craft, right? And I built a personal following. That Korean photographer Nitya, which we've looked at
Yeah,
many
yeah, yeah.
times,
Yeah.
Kim,
Yeah.
Eric Kim.
He's
Yeah, Eric Kim.
blogging. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
blogging, he's writing, he's doing training sessions. He's got some products which he has designed, like camera straps and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So it is a question of finding, what is your audience, which is the audience which appreciates you for who you are, versus trying to fit into an existing audience or a platform and trying to be that. It's the same with people. It's the same with people. It's not a question of how smart are you, but how are you smart? And everybody is smart in some way, right? It's a question of finding that out.
No, my question is,
Yeah, and
so
I think
how do you?
like when people are
Sorry, I think there's a
Go
lag.
ahead, Manas.
So I wanted to ask was ki, how do
uh-huh.
you see as an
Yeah,
ideal
yeah.
yourself current IIT pass outs who people sort of glorify, and they hold them at a different standard, on different podium, like because they have the
Totally.
brand and the salary package. They measure the entire personality trait is just IIT. So as an IIT in yourself, how do you see that? Do you see that for their worth?
Yeah, so supposing you are the person, and let's say you are well qualified, well educated, IIT, whatever, and you need to decide that if somebody is planning to tie the knot with me or liking me or appreciating me just because of this, or is it because of me as a person. And I think that is the decision which you have to take. I mean, ultimately it boils down to you, right? What kind of a person are you? It's not about the other. So if you are happy, and looking at the fact that somebody else is appreciating you or wants to tie the knot with you, I think you need to be careful about that, because
What
what
if
kind of a relationship are you getting into?
But what if people that has that's what has come down to. People are making their profiles on specific websites that just market to IITians and IIMs. There are specific websites where people meet from IIM. They marry the other person, like all are IIM candidates, only pass outs. So that's a thing now. So that's what I wanted to ask. So, so people in society they
It's like a
hold them to a different.
jeevansathi.com only for IIM pass outs.
You've got to be true to your beliefs. You've got to be true to your beliefs. Either you can choose to be swayed by that and try to ape that, again what we talked about earlier, or you can say, no, this is not for me. If I want to do something, I need to be true to what I really want. Do I want the other person to getting hitched to me because of my degree, or because of how much I'm earning, or is it because there is a connection between two people? So that's a choice which every person has to make, and power to people who want to do it the other way. I think it should be what you really like in the other person versus just the degree or money or whatever. I
All
mean,
right.
Yes,
So
we are a
yeah. So
minority too.
me and my wife, I mean, we got together and decided to be together when we were in school. So we were in, I think, 10th or whatever, 11th. That's when we decided it would be. I wasn't in IIT, I wasn't earning, she wasn't working, she wasn't earning. But that's when we decided. So all this was out of the picture anyway. So I don't see why it needs to be.
that's awesome. Okay, so one last question. If you were not, if you didn't go for engineering, what would you go for? What you would have gone for?
If it was today, like if you just passed out of
Mhm.
school now, and now you've got like broader options. So supposingly if it was not IIT or engineering, then what
I
would it
still
be?
see myself staying in a technical field. Uh,
Even now?
even now, I
Okay.
would like to. I'm not saying that at least if I was younger at this point of time and I had the chance to start my career, yeah, I would look into something technical. It need not be mechanical engineering or electrical, because that's something which I really like. like doing. So even photography, when I do, I mean, the technical part really excites me.
Thank you so much,
Hmm.
Uncle. We literally enjoyed. Like this was really good, and I think now the prerequisite of having any sort of guest on this podcast is that you have to have IIT, like two IIT degrees minimum, and otherwise you can't do that. You have raised the
So
standard.
Yeah, says the
undoing our entire conversation. Thank you for that.
and ironically says the says the host and the co-host who do not who do not even come close to one holding one IIT degree.
No, I think
So
you guys are doing a fabulous job. There is a lot of effort involved. I do enjoy listening to your podcast every once in a while. So keep it up, keep trying. Creating content is great. Not everybody can create content. So you are creating something. Be proud of that.
Thank you so much.
wow.
So if anybody wants to follow Uncle, you have a photography page, right, on Instagram?
Yes, yes, I do.
Okay,
Yes, he
so
does.
maybe we'll put it somewhere on the
So
screen,
it is called,
and
so
we will.
guys, it's called Deepak Bhatia I am, and we'll add it to the YouTube link as well. So you can follow and check out his photography. He is into wildlife and landscape photography.
So you might find
So
Nitya
yeah,
there as
you
well.
can have a look at his page on Instagram. That was not funny.
It was.
Right.
Your dad approves. Okay, thank you so much, Uncle. We'll see you in some.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Oh,
Papa. See you for dinner
all the
shortly.
very best. Take care, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
Uncle. See ya.
Bye. Uh, while we were recording the segment with Dad, I was more worried about this guy. तेरी फट क्यों रही थी? हो क्या गया तेरे को?
Okay, first of
Where
all,
is a carefree Manas who loves to mute me in the middle of sessions and embarrass me and बेइज्जती करूंगा? क्या हुआ उसको?
okay,
तेरे
first, okay,
पसीने क्यों छूट रहे थे?
okay, first of all, I had vaccine. Okay, I was just freshly vaxxed that day, so I was anyway loopy, and we have talked about it. And first of all, it was so bizarre meeting your dad for the first time on the podcast. So that was a bizarre thing as it is, and
I think for you it was ki, oh my god, there is like a parent on the podcast. I think for you, you were so overwhelmed. Like ekdam se your expressions and your body language and your gestures just completely shifted. And I was like, kya ho gaya isko? Why is he so all of a sudden so decent and composed and like he's sounding like my dad is interviewing him for a job. Like
I was trying that.
eh,
I was trying. I was like, let me just shoot my shot in case he's like, oh my god, he was the best candidate all along, and I was like looking at everyone else, but he's here. I have to like select him right here, best candidate.
yeah, that's exactly how my dad sounds.
But like aside from that, jokes aside, so first of all, it was so bizarre to see your dad for the first time on the podcast. So without like
तेरी
talking,
शक्ल देखने लायक थी.
yeah, we have established this, Nitya.
Yeah. I don't know. Wait, this is like wait. I need to do this. So uncle, I wanted to ask you. You are double IIT. So how was that experience? Please tell us.
Dude, first of all, I am a good kid. Okay, like let's just put it out there.
You were like
Okay, so
sorry Nitya, मैं नमस्ते बोलना भूल गया, मैं पाव पढ़ना भूल गया.
so
अच्छे बच्चे ऐसे करते हैं.
every person who has been on the podcast has, for some reason, they have been my friends, and I have known them before. So and I'm not that good at podcasting because you have not seen pre-editing. You see the final product, so I struggle a lot. So seeing
And that's
somebody or having
and you think that's as bad. So
and having someone for the first time, almost a stranger to me, like on the podcast, was really nerve wracking. Second, and then you have the age difference, and then he went somewhere like where I wanted to go. So everything was just piling up. It was like emotional, overwhelming situation. So
yeah. You were like behaving as if he's going to eat you up. मतलब he's going to kind of कच्चा चबा जाएंगे तुम्हें. And yeah.
so yeah, guys.
It was pretty entertaining for me. So that
Yes.
worked.
So yeah, guys, that was our episode. Little everywhere. थोड़ा इधर भी गया, उधर भी गया. We hope you liked it.
All over the place.
Next week we are going to do a really, really, really properly. We are going to do it really properly. So excuse us. Oh, don't. It is a free podcast. You're watching it for the free.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Do not try to change us. Okay. We're not going to change. Keep your feedback with yourself. I'm just kidding. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I was going to end the call.
Why do you do this every time?